Concert prices for white people. Tiny Jag. We had an artist, hip hop artist, Tiny Jag, and I haven't listened to any of her stuff. I was meant to do that, but I'm going to this weekend when I'm at the shore. The venue. What was the venue? They were going to charge more for white people than I guess for people of color.
Yeah.
And she said no, she's not going to do it because I think she said her grandmother is Caucasian or
yeah, her mom, like her grandma, I think is Caucasian.
Okay,
or yeah, something like that.
So she has she has family,
right?
So she didn't feel it would be right, and she stood up and said, "Nah, she ain't going to do it." First of all, we should throw our support to Tiny Jag because, what is it charging white people more for? What is that going to do for anything? Like, come on, man.
They was trying to be slick and couldn't pull it off. They should have hollered at the Hoteps. We just showed them how to pimp that white liberal guilt.
You gotta take it a little farther, people. Dems must pay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Stop charging people just to hear some music. Overcharge them more to hear the same tunes you vibing to. That's not the place to do that.
I think that what they was trying to say is they didn't want white people there, right? So here's what happens, right? Which is, in many ways, I sympathize with it because what'll happen is we'll have, let's say, an event in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
And it'll be a hip hop concert. Man, it'll be all white people and all the black people be in the back, like, damn, how we see the stage, right? And it's like, this is our culture, and I don't have a problem sharing it with white people, but there is a lot of times when you have a concert and all the tickets are sold out because white folks got money. They got money to do that. You know what I mean? They got money to buy the better tickets and so on and so forth. Also, another way to look at it is, for example, when we were performing artists, me and Demic, we would sometimes do shows in Newark. And the way we looked at it was sometimes you had artists that would come in. Let's say a popular artist would come into New York City and perform at the arena. And then the opening acts were never local, right? They like bring in opening acts from somewhere else. And it's just like, nah, you got to take care of the local people first. So I look at it as like a local thing. Another example is when you're dealing with Trick out in Detroit. You got to get cleared before you go out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think the execution on this was done poorly, but I kind of get what they were trying to prevent, right? They were trying to make sure that this was an event for black people. But it was for the kids, which is kind of sad that it turned out this way because the money goes to children in Detroit. And then another way I looked at it was, don't women get in the club like for free before 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
So we're allowed to discriminate ticket sales based upon gender, but not upon race. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It sounds weird to me, that you can't discriminate based upon race. I think people should be able to discriminate based upon race. I think we need to bring that back.
Making it hot out here, man. Because the first thing these white folks gonna do.
Yeah.
Oh man, that nigga tax. It's $10 for the white folks. It's $40 for you, Shine. You gonna tear up my club? They're gonna start charging black folks double to get in the club, man.
They do it.
Thank Hotep Jesus, man.
They do it to us, the people, every day. When we talk about the barriers of entry into some of these industries, such as the cannabis industry, and you need $100,000 to obtain this license. Who's got $100,000 just sitting around? Like, we're trying to start a business so we could have, $1 million, in the bank, and then all these loopholes just to enter an industry to sell a plant. You know what I mean? So it's like there's discrimination everywhere. But then when it comes to the individual, and discrimination is not allowed, right? So we're dealing with, the social media, and they discriminate. And what's my take on that? let them discriminate, right? Like I really feel like people should be allowed to do what they want to do, because what happens is you go down this you fall into the trap of being a communist nation, which we're already headed down, which we, in many ways are a socialist nation. But when you start saying that, the individual can't make decisions for their own business how they want, that's a bad thing. But the public is more than welcome to react how they feel.
Speaking of cannabis, you hear the Jay-Z? He's getting involved with I think a place in I don't know if it's Colorado or LA. But I read the fine print and I was like, let me read his articles. I know I heard all about these Jay-Z deals, man.
Yeah.
So I clicked the link and here it goes. I was like, oh my God, here he goes. Chief brand strategist. I'm like, oh my God. Like, doesn't he? I don't know. I'm not, he's doing it for whatever reason, but why wouldn't he do it to have, maybe he is getting some equity in the company, but it didn't read like it is. It read like it's just a partnership.
Like another Ciroc deal.
Right into it and buy something out.
It's like a Ciroc deal.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why? First of all, he's late.
Right.
Like so late in getting into this industry. So it's just like, why are you late on everything, Jay-Z?
Yeah, isn't there a couple brothers? I think Tyson. You said Tyson has a brand. There's a couple.
Tyson, Be Real, Wiz Khalifa. I mean, everybody's got their own bud now. It's like, Jay, well, you mad late, bro. But it's sad if he's doing another one of those and brand ambassador type deals. I hate those type of things, those brand ambassador deals. I got offered a bunch of brand ambassador deals post Rogan. I was like, no, like I want a portion of your company. So I get the he may have equity in his company. I just feel like with the amount of what it could be is it's still technically illegal federally, and he might not want to go to jail, and they'll get him. So he like, nah, let the white man grow this, because they ain't gonna come after the white man. Right? Because if he starts his own growery, technically it could come directly for him, right? Well, the business first, and then potentially him, and potentially the growers or whoever it is. But I feel like at this point he should have his own strain, and he should be cultivating this stuff. You should have fields. Kanye got land, like set up the greenhouses and hydroponics or whatever, and like actually start cultivating this yourself. I don't understand why we're not taking 100% ownership. Most of the time it's because they don't want 100% of the risk. But I mean, how much money do you need before you take a big risk, Jay-Z? I mean, your Live Nation deal, Rock Nation, that's a partnership with Live Nation. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing that's 100% you and you? I don't see it. I don't see why we always got to take on these big partners. Maybe it's something I'm not missing because I'm not 100 millionaire. So maybe I'm just speaking from ignorance.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like, he got title. I guess we can say title he's got. That's like his thrown through, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird situation.
Anyway. Well, so shout out to Tiny Jag for that. Super chat, John Lemley. Now that Little Nas X took off, the country venues are going to charge black people extra for tickets. Get all that money for them shines. Get them all. Justin Stone, gotta go. I'll catch you rest later. I wish you all the best, including the chat, how to show on the net, HBTY. Shout out to you, Justin Stone. Thank you for the $5 super chat donation. You folks, we give you gems here. Where are you going to get these gems? These life gems. Don't worry, Hoteps been told you.
Hoteps been told you.